What's going on, YouTube? And welcome on into the nest. I hope y'all are doing outstanding today, and I want to welcome you in to our official How to Play Phasmophobia guide. This will be a very in-depth and a very detailed guide. Very comprehensive as well into how to play the game from a baseline first-person point of view for a beginner. Again, this is a beginner's guide. I'm talking you never even opened the game before. So if that's you, I guarantee you're gonna walk away from this video knowing how to play Phasmophobia like a pro. So I hope you enjoy, but before we start this video off, I want to let you know that we do have timestamps down below on the very bottom of the video, as well as in the description down below as well. It'll help you navigate to certain parts of the video if you're looking for a specific how-to portion of this guide. With that being said, hope you enjoy. Drop a like, drop a comment as well. Let me know what you thought about the video, or maybe what you thought I could have done better. Make sure you drop a subscribe as well. Hope you all enjoy. Huh, okay. Looks like we're in some sort of a room here. What is this? So this is the main lobby, and this is where you're gonna be able to access things like single player, multiplayer, training, options, as well as other various things such as trophies that you've earned throughout your time in Phasmophobia. Also upstairs in this lobby is going to be a playroom, if you will, where you can kind of entertain yourself while you're waiting for your teammates to ready up for a match. Huh. Okay, I like it so far. What is this? Seems like I could possibly buy my equipment over here. Not really too sure. So this corner of the lobby is actually just a display case for all the ghost hunting equipment that you will find throughout your time in Phasmophobia. When you go into this corner, you can't actually click on anything that will bring up any kind of page, but we will get to where you buy your equipment here in just a moment later on in this guide. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty neat. Let's go over here and see what these are. Okay, they look like some sort of bookshelf, some sort of trophy shelves. I like it. This is pretty cool. So that's correct. This is the corner of the lobby that will display to you the trophies that you have received throughout your time here in Phasmophobia. These trophies can be anywhere from bones that you found in the investigation area to the cursed possessions that you've used, all the way from tarot cards, all the way to the summoning circle candles as well. And then you'll also have certain trophies such as seasonal trophies and the infamous 3 apocalypse trophies, which you saw there, the bronze, silver, and the gold apocalypse trophies. And of course, more trophies are to come once Phasmophobia is fully released. Huh, okay, that's pretty neat. Awesome, I like that. What's over here? Okay, we got some clipboards here. Let's see. Weekly and daily tasks. Interesting. I wonder what that's about. So in Phasmophobia, you have daily challenges. Daily challenges will reset every 24 hours, and when you complete a daily challenge, you get a little bit of extra cash, and that's what they're there for. And these clipboards are here to help you track those daily tasks that you have or have not completed. And then you also have weekly tasks, which reset every 7 days, and of course, they're going to give you a little bit more money, but they're going to be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more lengthier as well. Huh, okay, nice. That's pretty cool. Get a little bit extra money, can't complain about that. I wonder what's over here. Okay, it looks like this is some kind of truck here. Is there anything I can do here in this truck right now? So this truck within the lobby, there is nothing that you can do in this truck. What this is just an example of a truck as to what you will see once you actually load in to your match. And in this truck, you'll find various things such as ghost hunting equipment, your daily and weekly tasks, and a couple of TV screens that will give you information about the map, which we will of course be diving into later on in the guide. Okay, nice. All right, cool. I'm excited to see what that's all about once we actually load into a match here. I wonder what's over here. Okay. Looks like we got some photos from a previous investigation, it looks like. I wonder what's going on here. A lot of salt piles, okay. So that's correct. These are old photos from your most recent match, and you can find them here on this board. Say you forgot to screenshot a funny photo that you took of, say, your buddy who got killed by the ghost, you can find that photo here on the board as well to reference for later. But keep in mind, once you start another match, these photos will go away. Okay, nice, sweet. Let's see here. What's this plaque? Interesting. So this plaque here will tell you how many levels you actually obtained before Phasmophobia wiped the actual game and reset the levels. Now, if you played before this time, you should have a plaque here that states what level you reached on that time before they actually did the entire level wipe. That's all that this plaque here is. Okay, neat. I like it. So let's go up here. I know that he mentioned earlier something about this like playground thing. Okay, so we got some Jenga, some bowling. Okay. Oh, I like it. Basketball hoop. We got everything up here. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So that's right. This is in fact that like little playground area that we mentioned earlier that you can interact with everything here, and you can actually bowl and you can actually play Jenga with your buddies. Say you're waiting for somebody to get back from the restroom in your party. It's just a slight entertaining area, and you can do some pretty funny stuff with this, but that's kind of for you to find out once you actually get in and play Phasmophobia. But that's all that this is. Okay, sweet. I like it. That's not bad. I want to go take a peek down here, though. It looks like this is where we can actually possibly start a match here. Looks like this would be the main menu. And okay, yeah, if I remember, somebody told me that you can press spacebar to access that. Okay, yeah, so you just press spacebar. And actually, yeah, from anywhere, right? You can press spacebar and just teleport there. That's pretty cool. Okay. And that's right. This is going to be your main screen. You can either click single player, multiplayer, or any of these to access what they say that they are here. But single player, multiplayer are going to be the main ones that you're going to be pressing here. And these tabs will just take you over to certain screens, which of course we will show here in just a second. Okay, sweet. Well, I'm excited to kind of dive into these tabs and see what's going on here. Let's try single player since I'm by myself. Okay, so this seems to be this screen where I have myself here and a truck tab with looks like some ghost hunting equipment on this side. Interesting. Okay, and then it looks like it set me up for difficulty amateur. Okay, all right. I also noticed these arrows on the side of the screen here. Let's see where these go. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, so this is where you can select the map that you want to play. Okay, interesting. So let's see. I noticed that it kind of dims when I hover over it. Let's try this map, Tanglewood Drive. Okay, so it puts my blue marker there. Okay, so that's my vote. Okay, so down here, if you're playing multiplayer, I see. If you're playing with 3 other people, they can all put their vote in onto what map they want to play. That's pretty cool. And that's true. Once you select either single player or multiplayer, you'll then be able to select a map that you want to play on. Since we are in single player, we went ahead and selected the map Tanglewood, since it's a smaller map and a little bit more easier and beginner friendly. I like this map a lot. It helps you learn about Phasmophobia really easy and really efficiently as well. And again, you can select the map here, and if you're playing multiplayer, a bunch of your buddies can select what map they want to play, as well as select random, and maybe you guys can get a random map. Okay, cool. I like it. Let me head back over here, but let me see if I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to navigate this menu as well. Oh, I in fact can. Okay, so just left and right can navigate through. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I press right and I go back to this main screen here. Okay, and then what if I go to the right? Let's see. Oh, wow. So this is really in depth here. Okay, this is interesting. So this seems to be the shop where you can buy all of your gear at. Okay, I like it. Let's click on, let's go top to bottom and let's explore the shop here. Interesting. Okay. So this is in fact the screen that you can buy all of your ghost hunting equipment at. In this first tab you'll see here, this is the shop. You can buy all your equipment here at any single tier. And just as a side note, each tier of equipment, say you have a flashlight, tier 1, tier 2, to tier 3, they're all going to be the same price, whether it's a tier 1 flashlight or a tier 3 flashlight. Let's dive into the shop tab at the very top here a little bit more. Huh, okay. Pretty intuitive. I like it. So let's see, D.O.T.S projector. I wonder what this sign is right here. So that symbol represents how many of those items that you actually have in your storage. This is not how many items are in the truck, but how many you have in storage that you have already purchased and are available for you to move into the actual truck itself. Huh, okay, sweet. So D.O.T.S projector, that's what this item is. Okay, yep, there it is, right? The 14 we have in storage, and then this is the price, $65. And just like he said, yeah, it doesn't change depending on which tier of the actual equipment you select. That's pretty cool. And it seems like it pulls up this option screen up here where it's going to show you various different things, it looks like. Okay, so we have properties. Okay, so some of them have a gold background and some of them have that kind of grayed out background. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so the gold background means it's a pro for you. It means it's a positive. It's something that's going to benefit you in game. 7-meter range, right? Okay, it has a wide spotlight. Okay. And then this grayed out background. Okay, so it's electronic. That must mean something about the actual ghost hunting itself. I wonder, let's see. He'll probably dive into that a little bit later. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Okay, so up here, it'll actually show you your name, what level you are, as well as what prestige you are. And also, it's going to show you your money that you actually have, how much money you have. That's pretty neat. Okay, so if we go down here and buy one, it should subtract money from there, right? And increase the amount that we have actually put in our storage. So now we have 15 DOTS projectors. Okay, so that makes sense. That's pretty cool. And you can actually sell some of the equipment too for almost half the price if you wanted to sell some. So we can gain a little bit of money and sell that back. Interesting. But now I'm kind of curious as to what this means right here. It says main equipment. Main equipment. Interesting. Okay, so that's correct. This, in fact, here is the main equipment section of this screen. Now, when they say main equipment, the developers mean that the main equipment is going to be your main ghost hunting equipment that you're going to actually get evidence by using. Now, in addition to this, they include a bare bones flashlight for you to use. So with this main equipment, you will get one piece of each of the main equipment by default at the start of the match. So you technically don't need to buy any of the main equipment before you can play your first match of Phasmophobia. You get one of those each at the start of each and every single match given to you for free. Huh, okay, that's pretty cool. So they actually set you up so that way you can get the ghost right on your first time in Phasmophobia. That's awesome. They at least give you a chance to get it right, and they give you one free piece of each main equipment on the start of your match. Now that's pretty cool. But I also noticed that there's a second section down here that says optional equipment. I wonder what that is. Okay, so we have Crucifix, Headgear, Incense. Wow, we have a lot of good stuff here. I wonder what all this stuff does. Igniter, motion sensor, photo camera. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, but optional equipment, what does that mean? So the optional equipment section of this main menu is just equipment that is not necessary for you to actually get the ghost right. This optional equipment is, of course, optional, and it actually benefits you greatly if you have the money to buy some of this optional equipment, such as crucifixes and other various things. And I have complete guides to every single piece of equipment for each and every single tier. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, which I will have linked down below in the description, and I'll link up here. Y'all really thought we weren't going to include a Tier 1 equipment guide in a guide about how to play Phas? What? Get out of town, baby. Roll the clip. We're rolling the entire Tier 1 equipment guide right now, baby. Buckle up. Let's get to it. All right, y'all. We're kicking it off, going from left to right, top to bottom, at this image here you see in front of you. We're going to be starting off with the DOTS projector Tier 1. The Tier 1 DOTS projector is a handheld flashlight that essentially produces and emits green dots in a grid form pattern right in front of you, whether it be on the wall or the ground. And what you're looking for is essentially a hollowed out kind of ghost figure walking through this DOTS projector. And if you see that, that is going to be your DOTS evidence in your journal. Make sure you check that off. If you don't, you may forget, and you could be confused as to what ghost you actually have. Now, this pen is not only handheld, but you can also place it on any object or on the ground, such as sinks, boxes, tables, anything, you name it. You can place this pen down, but it will act as if it was a real pen. So if you just kind of place it on the edge of the table, it may fall. So make sure you put it on a solid surface, preferably above chest level. So something like maybe a table or something of that nature. So that way you kind of get that full grid pattern going from top to bottom and where it's not cut off by the ground. All right, y'all, on to the next piece of equipment. We have the EMF Reader. The EMF Reader has a chance of emitting 5 different EMFs, technically 4, but it's going to be 1 through 5. Now, EMF 1 is just your standard reading that you will have once you turn on your EMF Reader. It doesn't mean anything at all, it just shows you that the EMF Reader is turned on. Again, EMF 1 means nothing. Now, on to EMF 2. EMF 2 could mean various different things, but mainly what you're looking for is something that's been touched or maybe slightly pushed, or something like a picture frame that's been knocked off of a wall, or a shoe that's been kicked. Any kind of things like that, even such as a door being touched, that's going to be your EMF 2 readings. Now, your EMF 3 is going to be any objects that are thrown. So a little bit more of a heavier interaction. That is going to be your EMF 3. All right, so now on to the EMF 4. EMF 4 is actually only going to signify a ghost event. So like the one that you see here, we had the red light event. And once I got to the origin of the event, which just means where the ghost was standing, that is where you will get your EMF 4. It doesn't mean anything to you, and it doesn't lead you on to any specific ghost types. Now, your EMF 5. Now this is a very unique one. Your EMF 5 is going to be any interaction that has a chance to turn into that EMF 5. So say EMF 2 or EMF 3. Any of those interactions actually have a 25% chance to turn into an EMF 5, as long as the ghost that you have gives off that EMF 5 evidence. So again, once you see EMF 5, just know that that is actually an EMF 2 or EMF 3. It's just a 25% chance that you happen to get it. All right, let's talk about something that has been brought up before in my Twitch stream chat regarding being hunted by the ghost and what the EMF reader means. So when you have an EMF reader in your hand and you're actually getting hunted, if the ghost is chasing you, your EMF reader is going to go absolutely haywire. It's going to go from 1 through 5 and honestly probably all the way up to 7 or 8. That doesn't mean anything though. That's not going to give you any kind of certain evidence towards a ghost, but just know that once you see that EMF reader going haywire, you might as well just drop it. It doesn't mean anything, and there's no EMF above EMF 5. All right, y'all, on to the next, the ghostwriting book. This is one of the simplest and easiest tools to use in Phasmophobia, as there's nothing that you can do to actually increase your chances of obtaining your ghostwriting evidence. Now, all you have to do is take the book and place it down on the ground or any surface such as a washer, dryer, table, or countertop. Very, very easy. Put it down and wait for the ghost to interact with it. Now, with this, once you get it, again, make sure you cross it out in your journal, because if you don't and you forget to do it later on, it could confuse you as to which ghost you actually have on your hands. Again, ghostwriting book, super simple and super easy. All right, y'all, let's get down to it and let's dive into the spirit box. Now, before we start, I have a full in-depth guide on the spirit box, and I'll have that link down below in the description if you want to check that out, as this guide is just regarding the tier 1 equipment. Now, for the tier 1 spirit box, it has a audio quality of low, rated in the Phasmophobia storefront, where you can actually buy the spirit box at. So again, audio quality is low, but it's actually got a really low range as well, only 3 meters. So you have to ask a question, and the ghost has to be actually around you within 3 meters in order for you even to have a chance at getting a response. And even then, with this being the tier 1 spirit box, the response time is really low. So you may not get a lot of responses, but I'm going to leave some examples here following me talking about it, about what these responses sound like, and also a unique one, what the D.O.T.S response sounds like. Make sure you check this out.
Are you near? Are you closing? How old are you? Are you far? Are you close?
From behind.
Hey yo, what the fuck? Are you close?
All right, y'all, on to the next one. We have the tier 1 thermometer. Now, do you remember at the beginning of the video how I mentioned that there are some tier 1 equipment that are just frankly more practical and more preferred by players than their tier 2 and their tier 3 variants respectively? Well, the thermometer is actually one of those pieces of equipment. And the reason why is because you essentially just set it and forget it. Now, what I mean by that is you take your thermometer, and once you've located your ghost room, set your thermometer down within your ghost room, and just walk away and continue about your investigation. Go back to the truck and get more items or whatever you need, and come back and check the temperature. Now, it will be slow, but it's more practical in the sense that you don't need to walk around with it like you do the tier 2 and tier 3 variant of the thermometer and constantly check the temperature of the room to try and get that freezing, right? That little red meter, if it is a freezing temperature ghost, it's going to drop down below 0. And if it's not, it's going to hover right above 0. And that's where the tier 1 thermometer actually has a lot of advantages. So check this one out. And I have a few examples here for you, but I recommend you use this one over the tier 2 or the tier 3 thermometer. Alright y'all, we're on to the next one, and this is the tier 1 glow stick. So this is what's going to give you your ultraviolet evidence. It has a 60-second duration from the time that you crack it open, and then from there you can actually reutilize it. Just pick it up and crack it open again, or in the game's animation, it's going to just have you shake up that glow stick again, and you'll be ready to use it, right? So then it has also a 10-second charge time. And what that 10-second charge time refers to is how long it actually takes from the moment you let it hit a fingerprint on the door or a footprint on the floor. That kind of rhymed. That's weird. From the time that glow stick hits the door and actually starts illuminating that fingerprint, you have to wait 10 full seconds with that glow stick in your hand in order for that fingerprint to actually linger around on the door long enough for you to get a photo of it. And that's key because that's actually monetary value in your photo log when you get fingerprints. Now, it is the cheapest, but at least it's something, and it's better than actually kind of walking around and not getting any photos at all. But besides the point, that is your UV glow stick. Very, very simple to use. Make sure you shine it on the door as well as the floor to get those footprints, which I have examples here playing for you. All right, y'all, next up is the video camera. Now, this piece of equipment is, of course, as we're going over tier 1, but it's used to go ahead and find ghost orbs, and that's going to be evidence in your journal. So again, like the previous ones, once you find it, go into your journal and check it off before you forget. So the tier 1 video camera is the lowest quality. Of course, it's tier 1. So it's going to have a very small screen. What I just do with it is honestly, I just kind of get my face in my computer screen and I look for those ghost orbs, because let's be honest, those things are hard to find on the tier 1 video camera. So when looking for them, ensure that you're in night vision mode. And also, as a side note, with the storefront information that you actually find when you go to purchase the video camera, you'll also notice that it says knockdown chance is high. And what that refers to is if you have a tripod or not, which we'll get into a little bit further down in the guide once we get to our tripods, because that's what they're for, to reduce that knockdown chance. So with the tier 1 video camera, make sure you're in the ghost room, make sure the lights are off in the ghost room, and ensure that your night vision is on, and go ahead and look through that video camera onto that green LCD lens and just try and find those ghost orbs. Very straightforward, very simple, one of the easiest tools in Phasmophobia, hands down. All right, y'all, now that all of our main evidence finding equipment is knocked out and out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into some other miscellaneous equipment and consumables that you can find in the Phasmophobia storefront. So let's talk about the Crucifix. The tier 1 Crucifix has a range of 3 meters, which isn't much, but the worst part about it is that it only has one use. So once that Crucifix gets burnt up by the ghost that's hunting you, that's it, it's done for. You have to go get another one. It's not like the tier 2 Crucifix where you have 2 uses on one Crucifix. So the tier 1 Crucifix, if you bring in all your Crucifixes, which is only 2, you're only gonna have 2 chances to actually save yourself from a hunt. And that's not good. So definitely recommend getting this thing upgraded to tier 2 as fast as possible. Now, this is a consumable item, which means once it's used, it's not, you have to go buy another one. It's gone. It's not like the spirit box where if you bring the spirit box in the match and you actually win and you get the ghost right, you still have that spirit box, right? This is a consumable item. So even if you win the match, if you used it, you have to go and buy another one. So keep that in mind. You will run through these as well as other consumables like smudge sticks quite often. All right, y'all, let's dive into our next consumable item in the shop. That's going to be the candle. We're talking about the tier 1 candle here, so the weakest of the weakest candles right now. This candle has a range of 2 meters, which is actually the same as all of the candles of the tiers. So tier 2 and tier 3, they all have a 2 meter range, referring to the light that actually emits out from the center of the candle up until where it gets dark in the room that you're in. Now, the tier 1 candle has a duration of 3 minutes, so not the greatest, not the best, but it's something, and it will last you a decent amount of time while you're in your investigation area. Now, the tier 1 candle actually offers a 33% sanity reduction rate as long as you are standing within the 2 meter radius of this candle. So this is actually pretty useful, especially if you're trying to play on Nightmare or Insanity and you're trying to play in the dark and not really have too much lights on. Say you're testing for a certain ghost like a mare, increased activity in the darkness, right? This is where this would come into handy, but keep this in mind as well. Just a little tip for y'all, right? This is the on-rose worst enemy, the candle. Each tier of them, it doesn't matter, because the Onryo actually will use the candle as a crucifix. And when it comes to the Onryo, that's actually extended out to 4 meters. 4 meters. That is the essential crucifix range for the Onryo here. So instead of blowing out a crucifix, if you have a lit candle around, the Onryo will blow it out, and it's actually going to go up to 4 meters. So to use the candle, ensure that you actually have a lighter or some form of light, which we'll get into later on in the guide. In this case, we're talking about tier 1, right? Make sure you have some matches in your inventory, or else you will not be able to actually light this candle. Now, the matches, they don't last that long. I mean, they got a lot of them in the box, but they only last a few seconds. So use them wisely, especially only if you're bringing in 1 matchbox into your investigation area. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and dive into our next piece of equipment, the flashlight. And we're talking the tier 1 flashlight here. Now, this has a spotlight rated as narrow in the Phasmophobia storefront shop on the information page. Very, very narrow cone. It's not going to give you much as far as your peripheral vision. It's not going to light up much. And it's not really going to go that far either. Now, very low intensity again. Basic here. Use the flashlight to light up the way that where you want to go and whatever you want to see. Turn it on, light it up, but make sure you turn it off during a hunt, or else the ghost will find you and detect it, and it will unfortunately kill you. All right, y'all, we're going to dive into our next piece of equipment, which is going to be our headgear slot. Now, for the tier 1, it's actually the most useless piece of equipment if you're a big solo player like I am, and you tend to play a lot of Phasmophobia doing solo investigations. And the reason why the tier 1 is actually pretty useless is because it's a video camera. It does nothing for you. So that's all it is it's just a video camera for your teammates to actually be able to see what you see if they sit in the truck and you have it turned on. So you can turn it on and turn it off while you're in your investigation area to actually turn your camera on. Very, very self-explanatory, but again, if you're a big solo player, this is not going to be a good choice for you. It's going to be pretty useless. So I would save your money if you're buying a lot of these tier 1 headgears. Alrighty, y'all, on to our next consumable equipment. It's going to be the matches, right? This is our tier 1 lighter slot. And for the tier 1, we have a matchbox. We have a matchbox with 10 matches, and each match lasts only 10 seconds. So not that long. So use them wisely, especially only if you're bringing in 1 matchbox into your investigation area. Now, ensure that you actually have these matches in your inventory when you're trying to use a candle or when you're trying to use a smudge stick. Because if you try to use either of those 2 items and they're in your inventory, but you don't have any kind of light source, aka matchbox, in your inventory, you're not going to be able to light these things. They're going to be useless to you. And in the event of you having a smudge stick, that could be the last time you play on that match there. So you have to restart if you end up dying because you brought in a smudge stick with no way to light it. I've done it plenty of times. Just don't make that mistake. Could cost you a couple $1,000s in equipment, but matches, very self-explanatory. They're used to light things. Alrighty, y'all, we're moving on to our next piece of consumable gear, and arguably the most important piece of consumable gear that you can bring with you into a match in Phasmophobia. That's going to be your smudge stick. Now, of course, we're dealing with the tier 1 smudge stick, which actually has a range of 3 meters. So only 3 meters, so not far. You definitely want to keep your distance from the ghost before you light this smudge stick. Now, it has a duration of 5 seconds. So the moment that you light that smudge stick and it actually makes contact with the ghost, that ghost will be essentially blind for 5 seconds. It won't be able to actually see anybody, kill anybody, track anybody. You can have flashlights on during that 5 seconds. You can throw a whole party. It's not going to detect you. But the moment that 5 seconds is up, you better have found a hiding spot because it's going to be wandering back to its last known location of where it actually saw somebody. So keep that in mind. Get into a hiding spot, turn your electronics off, and turn your microphone off. This is definitely the most useful piece of gear you can bring with you into Phasmophobia. All right, y'all, we're moving through this guide. I hope y'all are still with me. If you are, comment down below, Eagle Jr. If you're still here, if you are, I really appreciate you, and I hope you are learning something thus far. But nonetheless, we're moving on to our next piece of equipment, the motion sensor, of course, tier 1. Now, with the tier 2 and tier 3 motion sensor, you can actually, once you place it on the wall, you can click it to change how many motion sensor lights actually protrude out of the motion sensor itself. But on the tier 1, you can't do that. It's only got 2 settings. off and on. So once you place it on the wall, you can click it, turn it off, and click it again to turn it on, but there's only gonna be one light that sticks out. Now, with the motion sensor though, and with all motion sensors, you can actually get the information from them while you're in the truck. So once you place it on the wall or whatever surface you do place it on, just go back to the truck and you'll actually see it on the map like I have here, and you'll see how there's a line that's actually showing you how far that line of the motion sensor is actually covering a doorway or protruding off of a wall. And it'll make an audible sound as well. So it's pretty useful if you don't want to drain your sanity while trying to get, say, the motion sensor side objective. Just sit in the truck and wait for the ghost to actually walk through that motion sensor. Pretty unique and actually really useful tool. Alrighty, y'all, moving on to our next piece of equipment that we're going to be going over today. For the tier 1 category is the Parabolic Microphone. Now, this isn't as useful as some other equipment, but it does have some pretty important uses, especially regarding gaining money throughout your match. So periodically throughout your match, what you will be given is a Parabolic Microphone objective. And all you got to do is just aim the Parabolic Microphone, make sure it's turned on, of course, but aim it in the direction of the ghost room. And you're gonna hear some whispers, which I'll play some examples here for you shortly, but what that sounds like. And this actually has a range of 20 meters, so pretty far. Definitely, this is gonna be more than enough for any match on Tanglewood or any kind of small map. Medium maps, you might start to die off in regards to the usability of this, and especially large maps like Sunny Meadows. That's going to be a rough one. You definitely want to get a much more better of a tier of the Parabolic Microphone for that. But check out these clips I have for you. Alrighty, y'all, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost at the end of this guide. Our next equipment up on our tier 1 list is the photo camera. Now, on the information page in the storefront where you can actually buy the photo camera at, it's gonna say time between photos high. Now, this is gonna be the biggest, probably gotta say, con about the tier 1 photo camera is they did a really good job with making this a very punishable, if you will, offense, or rather something of that nature regarding using the photo camera. It's not really the greatest. It takes really low quality photos, especially when you're trying to get a good phantom photo. If you're trying to look for distortion specifically in the actual photos, it's not going to look that good on this one. It's going to be hard to tell between that and, say, just your normal photos of the ghost. But it's going to be really hard to even get ghost photos during a hunt because the time between photos with this is so high. But of course, photo camera, pretty self-explanatory. Use it to take photos of salt, of fingerprints, of various different things to gain monetary value in your journal. All right, y'all, up next we have our tier 1 salt. Now, salt is very useful, and I'm talking very useful for gaining photos and filling up empty slots in your photo log to gain monetary value for the match that you're currently playing. But this salt is, of course, tier 1, so it's the weakest. It only has 2 uses per bottle, and in Phasmophobia, you can bring in 3 item slots of salt. So since this only has 2 uses, that's 6 uses total. So make sure, especially if you're playing on like Nightmare or Insanity where the ghost tends to switch rooms a lot, make sure you're being careful about where you're placing the salt, because you could run through all your salt bottles and the ghost keeps switching rooms and it never gives it a chance to walk through the salt. Also keep in mind that with the salt, the Wraith will actually never walk in salt. So if you place a motion sensor over a pile of salt and the motion sensor goes off, but the salt is not stepped in, just rule out a Wraith. Just a slight little tip there, but this is the tier 1 salt. Place it in doorways, place it wherever you think the ghost will walk. Once it walks in that salt, it'll leave an imprint and you can take a photo of it. Alright, y'all, up next, yet another piece of consumable gear that you can bring into the match. We have your sanity pills. Now, I would say that this is pretty darn important right there behind the smudge stick. Now, you can take up to 4 sanity pills into the match with you, but the thing about the tier 1 sanity pills is it takes 30 seconds from the time you consume it for the full effect to actually take place. 30 seconds. So make sure you hang around in the truck a little bit, or maybe in the front yard of the investigation area that you're actually working with before you enter the house, because if you walk in too fast, the ghost could still potentially hunt you depending on your sanity. So again, the sanity restoration amount is fully dependent on the game mode difficulty you're playing. So, but with the tier 1 sanity pills that we're going to be taking here, they take 30 seconds to take full effect. Alrighty, y'all, on to our second to last piece of equipment for today's video on the Tier 1 equipment for Phasmophobia. We're talking about the sound sensors. Now, this sound sensor for Tier 1 has two different ranges, which is 5 meters and 10 meters. Now, you can change these ranges on the sound sensor remotely from the truck. Go ahead and click on the arrows that you see on screen here, and that's actually how you change the range of the sound sensor. Now, the sound sensor, it just essentially allows you to more or less find the ghost room a little bit faster, and especially much faster on those larger maps. So if your teammates, say if you're playing with a full lobby and you take all 4 sound sensors in, 1 per person, you put them all down. If somebody puts them all down, once you all meet back up the truck, you just watch the meters go up and listen for these sounds that the ghost could be making, and then from there you can pinpoint the ghost room utilizing that way. But the sound sensors are pretty useful for certain situations, especially on larger maps. Just place it down and you can hear where the ghost is via the truck. Alrighty, y'all, we're on our last piece of equipment for this Tier 1 Ghost Guide, and as we discussed earlier regarding the video camera, we are now talking about the tripod. Now, the tripod is super useful for getting that video camera above surfaces. Say you're in a kitchen in Tanglewood and you need to get that video camera's visibility above the kitchen island and that countertop there. The tripod is perfect for that. Now, the Tier 1 tripod is really only useful for that, right? It's only useful for getting the video camera up above those certain surfaces. Now, once you get up to Tier 2, you actually obtain rotational control of the tripod. So when you're from the truck and you're actually in the truck, you can actually rotate your video camera from the truck utilizing the tripod on the video camera. On the screen in the truck. It's actually really unique and super useful as well. But it does have a medium knockdown chance. So right in the middle, it's kind of got a little sweet spot. And once we get into the Tier 3 equipment, we'll be going over what the Tier 3 tripod actually does. And it's really cool, really good benefits with the Tier 3 tripod. But nonetheless, place your video camera on your Tier 1 video camera or Tier 3 video camera, if you want, on your tripod that's a Tier 1, and take it in your investigation area, prop it up so you can get that good height advantage, so you can try and find ghost orbs remotely from the truck, or get the Goryo's infamous dots with nobody in the room. So this is super useful. Make sure you have one in the investigation area with you once you take your video camera in there. All right, last but not least, regarding that knockdown chance, Phasmophobia actually has a game mechanic to where the ghost can knock over your tripod and your video camera, and rendering it useless until you place it and prop it back up on the tripod. So when it comes to that knockdown chance, that's what it's referring to, right? So the higher tier of tripod you actually obtain, the less of a knockdown chance it actually has, and the less the ghost will actually mess with your video equipment. Huh, okay, sweet. I'm gonna have to check out some of those optional equipment. I think that's pretty much it though for this shop page. I think I want to learn a little bit more about the equipment manager. Let's see. Equipment manager. Okay, so this is where you can actually purchase and upgrade your actual equipment. So you can purchase those upgrades to upgrade them from Tier 2 to Tier 3 and etc. Nice. Okay, gotcha. And I notice here it actually changes the symbol as well, which I guess represents Tier 3. Okay. And then it also says up here that I can add things to the truck from here. So let's see, if I click plus and it shows that up as my equipment, then that must mean if I go back to this, then it'll show the equipment that I added there. Okay, so I added a DOTS projector. Let's try that out with a video camera. Let's go and let's go ahead and add this with the plus symbol. We'll just add all of them. We'll add all of them. So we've added 3. Now let's go verify. So these are in the truck. So I know that before I start my match, I am in fact going in with 3 video cameras that I have added. So that's really useful. I like that a lot. So that's 100% correct. The equipment manager section of the shop menu is solely used for adding things to the truck individually, as well as purchasing new equipment and purchasing tier upgrades of that said equipment. Now, as you saw there, I have everything unlocked, but if you were a new player, some of these will be locked at a certain level, whether it be level 12 or level 39 and all the way up to level 90. So make sure you check those upgrades out, and each of those upgrades will come with a hefty price, but I promise you it's worth it, because those tier 2 and tier 3 equipment, man, they do wonders during your investigation area. It is something to strive for upgrading to. Okay, interesting. So that looks like everything for the equipment manager tab. I'm actually really excited to kind of dive in to see what some of these upgrades can do. Let's go down to quick loadouts and let's see what this is all about. Okay, so we have a loadout section here with the name of the equipment, the tier. Oh, that's cool. You could select them. Okay, so you could select which tier of which specific equipment you want to bring in, and it tells you how much you have owned right here. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then it even tells you the truck here. So it seems like whatever I add over, so if I add in, let's say 3 flashlights and 1 more ghost writing book, it'll show it there, but now will it show it in the truck? It in fact does. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now it actually reflects what tier of equipment I put in. That's pretty cool. Okay, I like that. So that's one way to add it into the truck as well. And it is a quick loadout screen and it is faster. So I like that a lot. And it looks like you can customize some of these loadouts as well. So if I want all tier 2 equipment, right, I can just minus everything and then go click +1. And now I'm going in with all tier 2 equipment as long as I have that unlocked. So that's pretty cool. And then if I want to add everything in, it looks like that's pretty cool as well. I can just kind of click that plus button, go back to the truck page, and now I have all equipment in. As long as I've purchased that equipment, that's pretty cool. Okay, I like this a lot. This is really honestly efficient. And then I can create multiple custom loadouts, and I can click here, and it looks like I can rename this. Okay, so let's go YouTube. Let's just type in YouTube. Okay, so now I've named that loadout. Interesting. Okay. Now, that looks like it's almost it, but I think we have a few more tabs to kind of check out here. So I can reset this loadout here, and it'll completely delete everything off. So say we add a bunch of stuff and say this is our loadout. If I reset this, it'll completely erase everything and clean. Okay, so now I have a completely clean slate for this loadout slot here. For this load. Okay, nice. And then if I click enable, so I have everything in. Let's see. So this loadout is empty, right? But if I click enable loadout, this will actually cost nothing because I don't have any equipment in except the bare bones equipment. Okay, enable 0. So, okay, perfect. So it didn't cost me any money, of course, since now we're going to the truck with just the basics that's already provided to us. So, okay, so that's pretty interesting, and I like that. But now if I click on this loadout that is preset here to all equipment at tier 3, right? If I click enable loadout, it's gonna enabling this loadout will purchase any missing equipment and automatically add them to the truck. Interesting. Full restock cost would be $2,100, and the consumable restock cost would be $185. I wonder what consumable means. Interesting. Okay, but it doesn't cost me anything since I already have all that equipment. So if I click enable, it'll add everything to the truck. So this is super freaking useful, and I'm actually really excited to dive in and explore this a little bit more. But you can actually set multiple loadouts depending on if you have 1 players, 2 players, or whatever the case may be. That's pretty cool. So that's right, the quick loadout screen is a great tool to use, and it's where you're going to be spending a lot of your time when you're at the main menu here, right? The quick loadout screen is where you can fast and efficiently add in your loadout into the truck without having to fiddle around and add each individual pieces of equipment from your actual equipment tab there. So super useful, but I think that we should actually start diving in to some of this consumable equipment that we just mentioned. Let's check some of it out. Okay, so earlier I saw that one of these pieces of equipment, which one was it? I think it was the Firelight, which just looks like a candle. I saw something that said consumable. There it is. Okay, so it has a gray background, which means it's actually going to be a negative, right? It's going to be something that's going to work against you in game in regards to its usability. So it says it's consumable, but what does that mean, right? I would imagine, right, when you light the candle, it starts burning down, and once it's gone, you can't really use it anymore, right? So that's very true. The candle is one of 6 optional equipments that you have that is a consumable item. So the moment that you use a lighter on that candle and it starts to burn, it has now been consumed, and you have to buy another one from the shop. Even if you only let it burn for about a second or 2, it is then consumed at that point in time, and you have to buy another one, even if you get the ghost right. Again, it is one of 6 optional pieces of consumable equipment that once you use it and you actually interact with it, that's it. You gotta go and get another one. Huh, okay. That makes sense. I guess if you burn it, that does kind of make sense, right? Let's see. Okay, you have a few more options here for the Firelight or the candle. That's pretty cool. And you get a lantern on this one. That's pretty sweet. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our next one. I think the other one that I saw was the igniter or the matchbox. Okay, so we have a lighter here. Interesting. And this is, in fact, a consumable. So this is our second piece of optional consumable equipment. Okay, seems pretty self-explanatory. A lighter. Okay, so you use the lighter to light things such as candles and whatnot. Interesting. Okay, we're going to keep that in mind. Let's go down to the next one here. Let's see. Is the photo camera consumable? No, it's not, because, again, I guess that makes sense, right? That is a piece of actual equipment, right? That's not really consumable. Let's go down to Sanity Medication. Okay, so this one is a consumable. So this looks like it's going to be our third consumable equipment, it looks like. Let's kind of read about this. Interesting. Okay, so this is a consumable. Okay. So that there is the Sanity Medication. And again, I have guides on all these pieces of equipment, which will be linked down below. But for the Sanity Medication, it is a consumable and it is a one-time use. Once you use one bottle of these Sanity pills, that is it. They're done. You got to go buy another one. Hence why it's a consumable, right? You use the contents in the bottle, they're gone at that point, which means it's a consumable. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Let's see what else we got here. Sound sensor. No, that looks like an actual piece of equipment. Something that's, okay, pretty dense object. So that's probably not a consumable. Let's go salt. Let's see. It is a consumable. Okay, so that makes sense, right? When you pour salt out of the bottle, right, you can't really put the salt back in. So it is a consumable at that point. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. Let's see. Incense sticks. This is a consumable as well. Look at that. Okay, so that looks like that's going to be our 5 out of 6 consumable equipment that we have here, it looks like. And this is consumable. Okay, interesting. So that there is the smudge stick, arguably known in Phasmophobia as one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable, piece of consumable gear that you can bring in. Now you have to pair it with a lighter in your inventory, which we will get into a little bit later on to use this, right? But once you use that smudge stick and it burns down because you lit it with a lighter, it is gone. It is now gone. And you have to get another one and buy another one from the shop, right? It is a consumable item that has been consumed by anything, whether it be the ghost or the player. It has been consumed. Okay, interesting. The incense stick or the smudge stick. Okay, we're gonna have to learn a little bit more about kind of what that is a little bit later on. He said he mentioned that he had a few guides. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out in the description and kind of see what those guides are so I can actually learn about some of these equipment. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I think the Crucifix was one he mentioned. This is one that he actually mentioned was a consumable. So this is our last consumable item that we have to go over. So the Crucifix, right? And okay, so the Crucifix can be held or placed to stop the ghost from initiating a single attack. Okay, so that makes sense. If the ghost initiates attack and this Crucifix blocks that attack, right, I would imagine it would get used. It would be consumed. So that's what makes that a consumable item. That makes sense. Okay, so that seems to be our last piece of consumable equipment we have. And then if we go down here, we have a coming soon screen. I wonder what that is. Looks like some clothes. I think that maybe we can customize our characters in the future. So that would be pretty cool. Okay, so I think I'm fully prepared on how to use the shop and how to navigate the shop now. Okay, good to know. I like it. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start my first match of Phasmophobia. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think we're gonna kind of figure it out and go along the way. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start our first match. We're on amateur mode, and this says difficulty. If I click this, right? If I click this, this is a whole different screen. Okay, so let's see. I got some tabs here. Okay, so this is how I actually change my difficulty. Okay, that makes sense. Let's read about this right here. Whoa, whoa, whoa there. Hold your horses. We don't even know what we're doing yet. How are we going to start our first match of Phasmophobia without even knowing what the difficulty means and how to actually navigate these screens? So let's dive into them. We got amateur mode right here, which is what I recommend you start out with for your first match of Phasmophobia. So now we have different criteria that describes what makes amateur mode, what makes it the easiest mode in Phasmophobia. We have something called a long setup time. Now, long setup time refers to a grace period, if you will, to where the moment you open the investigation area door, meaning the door to the house, the moment you open that door, a timer will start going down. With this timer, that actually represents a grace period to where the ghost cannot initiate a hunt. It can still be active, it can still throw things, right? You can still find the ghost room, but within the safety of that umbrella timer of the setup time. So use this setup time wisely to get in the house, find the ghost room, detect activity, and get your equipment set up. That right there is what the long setup time means. Now, long hunt grace period, that refers to the time to where a ghost hunt is actually beginning and initiated, and to where the ghost will actually appear and start chasing you. Now that's going to be a long time, so the hunt will start. You'll often hear the front door lock, and you'll hear some sounds coming from the ghost. That is the grace period, and right there, once that's over, that's when the ghost will actually be able to start hunting you. We also have a short hunt duration. That again, right, refers to how long the hunt is. It's going to be a very short hunt. It's not going to be long at all. So it's a little bit more beginner friendly, just to kind of get your feet wet into Phasmophobia. We also have sanity pills, restore a lot of sanity. Now, on your first match in, you won't have any sanity pills. Again, remember, it's optional equipment. You have to earn money to buy them. But sanity pills will restore a lot of sanity, which we will go over later what sanity actually is. It's a very good and very, very important mechanic in Phasmophobia to know and to understand how it works. We also have regain half of your lost equipment value if you die, which is extremely useful as a beginner once you're learning the ghost game and actually learning how to play Phasmophobia, right? So if you die, you won't lose all your equipment, which is what you normally lose if you're playing on a higher difficulty. You will only lose half of it, and you'll get half of it back, so you can retain some of that money. These are what make amateur mode amateur mode. Okay, sweet. I like it. Let me check out the rest of this truck and kind of see what we have here. We have a TV, actual monitor here, which says CCTV. Okay, so this looks like a camera outside of the house that I selected on the map. Interesting. This keyboard, oh, so I click on this keyboard, it'll actually switch between night vision and a normal vision mode. Super interesting. I wonder why that would be useful. I'm sure we'll find out a little bit later on. And this mouse doesn't do anything right now, but I'm sure that actually kind of has a better use. I think we'll kind of dive into that a little bit later on. I also noticed here that we have our daily and weekly tasks, just like we talked about previously, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so we have daily and weekly tasks. Oh, and here's that setup timer that he mentioned as well. So we have a 5-minute setup timer before the ghost can hunt us. Okay, so we have 5 minutes to get in the house, get set up, and get everything going. I'm so freaking excited. This is awesome. Okay, let's see what this is. Oh, I've never seen this one before. Interesting. What is this? So this right here is going to be your case board. It's going to display you various information about the case of the person that you're actually investigating within the house. And this is also going to display to you 3 tabs at the bottom that say optional objectives here, right? These are your optional objectives that you can obtain. One of them says Parabolic Microphone, right? You need to detect the ghost with a parabolic microphone, but that's an optional piece of equipment that you need to buy. But if you actually complete these optional objectives and you get out of the house alive, you will actually get some money for these optional objectives. So super useful to actually do these. You'll also notice a name. You can say the name of the ghost that's on the board when you're talking to it, and you may or may not get some activity increases or some ghost responses. That's for you to find out once you dive into this investigation. It also says response to everyone. Now, there's going to be 3 things that will change with that specific white piece of paper tab there. Responds to everyone, responds to only people who are alone, or it's going to say we are unsure. Now, that is going to be depending on your difficulty. If it goes to we are unsure, right? But on amateur mode, it'll either say responds to everyone or responds to people who are alone. And if it says that, that is referencing utilizing the spirit box, which is one of your primary main pieces of equipment, right? If you are alone in the house and it says responds to everybody, right? It'll respond to anybody. But if you are in the room, in the actual ghost room with a partner or with your player, or with your friend or whatever the case may be, and it says response to people who are alone, you need to have your friend leave that room. have your friend leave that room, then you can utilize the spirit box to get responses from the ghost. Just make sure the lights are turned off, because lights cannot be turned on in the ghost room when utilizing the spirit box, or else you'll get no response. But that right there is what that means. And you'll also notice 10 grayed out slots here on this board as well. Those are going to be for the photos that you can take, which the camera is an optional piece of equipment that you have to purchase, right? And if you ever take photos in your investigation area, you can see them live here on this board of the photos that you've taken. Huh, okay. I like that. Okay, it's pretty cool. Good information there. Case number 2519. Man, this guy plays a lot of this game. Holy crap. Okay, let's see.
Look at this.
Okay, so we got 4 screens here. Let's see. Okay, so this seems to be a map of the house. Interesting. Now, if I click these arrows here. Oh, so that, okay, so we have multiple levels to the house. So this seems to be a top and bottom floor situation here going on. Okay, I like it. So there's the staircase. And I wonder what that green symbol right there means. Interesting. What is that green lightning strike there? Okay. So that symbol there signifies the power box or the breaker that is within the house. In order to get lights turned on in the house, you need to turn that breaker on. And on amateur mode, it will show you where it's at. And that is what that symbol means. That green lightning strike, battery looking symbol that you see there on the map, that is going to tell you right where the breaker's at. So for this case, right, we went to the basement level on the screen there. We saw where the basement's at, and we found the power on that wall. So when we go into the house, we know exactly where the breaker's at to get those lights turned on so we can actually see where we're going and what we're doing. Okay, that's pretty cool. Interesting. Okay, so if that's the breaker, okay, I would imagine that this green line would be the front door. Interesting. These red lines look like they may be windows. Interesting. Okay, so we'll have to take a look at that once we get into the house. So we're going to use this one as a reference so we can kind of verify. This first one here on the left looks like it's going to be a window, and that green line looks like it's actually going to be the door to the house. So let's go ahead and verify that once we actually leave this truck. I'm excited to see what we got there. Okay, I think this one looks like an interesting one. This is the sound sensors board. Interesting. I wonder what this one's about. So this top right TV screen right here represents your sound sensor board. Now, sound sensors are, again, an optional piece of equipment. They're not given to you as part of your main equipment pool, so you have to go and buy them before you go into the investigation area. Now, the sound sensors will display a large radius of sound on this TV here, and it will actually tell you where these sounds are coming from. And I'll provide a couple of screenshots here on screen as to what this looks like. But since this is a how to play Phasmophobia guide, we're not going to dive crazy deep into these, since this is the bare bones beginning stages of you learning how to play Phasmophobia. So nonetheless, the sound sensors here you can place down. You can put 4 of them down, and it's going to detect sound that the ghost makes from far away, so it can actually help you pinpoint where the ghost is. And again, check out these images that I have on screen for you right here. Huh, okay, neat. I wonder what that actually does. I can't wait to actually kind of dive in and explore what that optional equipment means by sound sensors. That looks pretty useful. I like that. Okay, let's see. We got total activity board here. Interesting. I wonder what this means. So the activity board won't be too useful to you at your beginning stage of the Phasmophobia when you're still learning the game, but just know that the activity board will display activity that the ghost is doing while it's actually in the house. And I'll display a couple of screenshots on screen right now as to what the activity board looks like while it's actually being in motion and being utilized by the ghost, and as it's experiencing these spikes on screen as the ghost is doing things in the house, whether it's touching doors, throwing things, or even hunting. Okay, interesting. I'm excited to kind of dive in and see what that activity board actually does for me. Okay, interesting. Team Sanity. Oh, there's my name. Okay, so I have 100% sanity. Okay, it looks like, okay, I haven't done anything yet, I don't think, so I have 100% sanity, but what does that mean? What is sanity? So the sanity board in the truck will tell you how much sanity you have. But what is sanity, right? Sanity is a percentage in Phasmophobia that will tell you how insane you are in your head. Essentially, right, if you're going insane, you're gonna have a lot less sanity, so you're gonna experience a lot more ghost events, the ghost can hunt you a lot more, things like that. So the lower your sanity is, the more intense activity will happen and of course the more hunts that the ghost can actually perform on you and your team. So it's important to keep your sanity high, right? But what does sanity do in game, right? Sanity will basically tell you, right, how much sanity you have, but also each ghost can hunt at a very specific sanity. Most ghosts can hunt at 50% sanity. 5-0. 5-0. So once you hit 50% sanity, most ghosts will be able to start hunting you. So it's very important to look at that board and make sure you maintain your sanity above 50% sanity, right? Or else you will start getting hunted again. Most ghosts can hunt at 50% sanity. And again, I said most ghosts, right? Not every ghost will hunt at 50% sanity. Some can hunt at 60, some can hunt at 35% sanity, right? Some can even hunt at 100% sanity, and some can hunt at 100% sanity depending on how many candles are blown out, which that is way more advanced than where we're at now, so we're gonna leave that at that. But nonetheless, I'll provide a link down below in the description that'll take you right to a chart that'll display what ghosts can hunt at certain sanities. But that is what sanity is, and it's an extremely important mechanic in game to understand and to also maintain and keep your eyes on, so that way you stay safe during your investigation. So before we go any further, we do need to talk about what can actually affect your sanity, right? What lowers your sanity? Well, anything can lower your sanity in Phasmophobia from the moment that you step into the actual investigation area. You're going to experience something called passive sanity drain, which drains your sanity slowly over time. This sanity drain cannot be stopped. It can only be reduced by standing within 2 meters of a lit firelight or a candle or a lantern in the game, depending on how far along in the tiers you are with your firelight. That's the only way that you can reduce your passive sanity drain. But other things can affect your sanity drain, like witnessing the special abilities that the ghosts have and that they possess, right? So, for example, if you witness what's called a polter bomb, where a poltergeist will explode a pile of household objects, that can lower your sanity a lot. If you stare at a phantom too long, that can lower your sanity a lot. If you get hit with too many ghost events, that can lower your sanity as well. So multiple things can lower your sanity in Phasmophobia. Just be aware of that, and those are the things that can affect your sanity. Okay, cool, awesome. That sounds pretty important to know, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. And what's that? That sounds pretty intense. Okay, let's see. I don't really know what to do from here though, and honestly, I don't even know what the point of Phasmophobia is. Like, what is Phasmophobia? What's the objective of this game, right? Now let me see. I think I can open up my journal by pressing J. Okay, so this will open this menu up. So if I press J, I can access here. Now it looks like I have a pretty good ghost guide here with a nice little index that'll reference a lot of different things. So I could probably read all of this right now if I'd like. It'll tell me about my sanity. It'll tell me about the different tools and what they do. That's pretty cool. Okay. Awesome. Payments. It'll tell you about how to make money. Cursed possessions. We're going to have to dive into that as well. I know nothing about cursed possessions. Interesting. Okay. We're going to have to get into that. But let's go ahead and just explore this journal really quick. It'll tell us about these cursed possessions right here. So these are all cursed possessions. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Here's some more cursed possessions here on this page. Gathering evidence, it'll tell you how to play the game here. Interesting, but I think that this video I'm listening to is probably a lot better than what this says here. Hopefully. You never know. We'll see. And here's our case. This is the same thing that we saw right here, actually. Okay. But it's in the journal format. So if we press J, it'll say it right here. Okay. Here's our optional objectives. So we'll just keep on going through. And here's actually where we can view our photos in our journal as well. Looks like we have 10 slots. Oh, this is the evidence tab. Okay. So if I want to quickly navigate, I can actually just click on these tabs. Interesting, but this is the evidence tab. So I feel like this might be pretty useful, to be honest with you. Let's see. Okay. We're going to dive into this really quick. I want to see what this is. Alrighty, so we are now at a point in time to where it is appropriate to talk about what Phasmophobia actually is before we dive into the unknown realm of ghost hunting in this game. So Phasmophobia is a ghost hunting game where you need to go in with your main equipment that we talked about earlier and find out what ghost you actually have. Now, we have 8 pieces of equipment on the board that we are starting out with that we can use, and there's only 7 of them out of the 8 that are actually ghost hunting equipment that we will get evidence from. Now, when you get a piece of evidence, whether you find ultraviolet fingerprints on a door or ultraviolet fingerprints on a keyboard, or if you see ghost orbs through a video camera utilizing its night vision mode, then you have ghost orbs evidence and ultraviolet evidence. And as you get those evidences, you want to go to this journal page right here that we just discovered and check off these evidences. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to go ahead and narrow down these ghosts to a few more ghosts here. But on amateur, on intermediate, and on professional mode, which are all difficulties within Phasmophobia, on those 3 difficulties, you will be given 3 evidence. So we already have ultraviolet ghost orbs, and let's use dots evidence as an example. If we get dots evidence, we will be narrowed down to 1 ghost, and that is the ghost that is remaining here, and that is what you want to circle. You want to make sure you circle that ghost here on your actual page before you leave. If you do not circle the ghost on the page, you will not get money for the actual credit of the game if you leave and survive. You are not going to get very much money, that is. So you definitely want to make sure you circle the ghost on the list that you think is what we have, and then you can go ahead and safely leave the truck. That is the basis of Phasmophobia, a ghost hunting game where you walk into the house, you use the equipment that you have that's considered main equipment that we discussed earlier, you get the evidence, you check it off in the boxes, and then once you have your 3 evidences, you circle the ghost that's on the list that's remaining, that's in the big bold letters, and then you go ahead and leave the match by utilizing the pin pad in the truck, which we'll go over here in just a second. Okay, nice. Let me go ahead and press J on the keyboard, and let's use that example that he was talking about. So he said ultraviolet evidence, ghost orbs. Okay, I see. So now the list is actually narrowing down to only 3 ghosts here. But he also said we had dots at the end, so that will lead us to a banshee. Wow, okay, so that's pretty cool. So there's so many combinations that could lead to all these different ghosts. You just really never know kind of what you're gonna get. That's pretty cool. And then he also mentioned that I need to circle this. Okay, so I can actually circle. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's how you do it. So you circle the ghost, right? And once you're ready, you get back in the truck and you click the pin pad to leave the truck. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, nice. So let me uncircle this. And I also noticed that you can check off certain evidences. So if you feel like you're not getting that evidence, right? So say we're not getting ghostwriting, I guess, whatever that is. Then, okay, so it'll actually rule out certain ghosts. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so if we rule out ghostwriting and say we're just not getting ghost orbs, that'll leave us with just these ghosts here. Okay, this is really cool. I like this. Super intuitive and super smart. Let's keep going through these tabs. Okay, so we have ghost types. So it's going to tell us about all these ghosts, and we actually can click these as if they're a hyperlink, and it'll tell us all about them. So that's pretty cool. We can click on Miling On-Rail, and it's actually going to tell us what evidence these ghosts give. This is actually so freaking cool. It has its strength and its weaknesses as well. Wow, okay. So we have 24 ghosts that we could potentially get, and it seems like they're all randomized, and you never really know what you're going to get, but it does tell you which evidence they give off, so you can kind of narrow your evidence pool down. That's so cool. Okay, all right, let's keep going through here, and that's just going to take us all the way through here. So we're on the ghost tab. If we click on Thay, now we're on page 48. That is all about our journal. This is so cool. I actually really like this a lot. Okay, so we did that. Now let's go ahead and dive into the house. Let's see. We have a key and a pin pad. I think that's how we do it. I'm assuming if I click this, that'll open. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, I'm starting to get a little nervous. This is so cool. Okay, let me grab this flashlight right here. And I can grab it by pressing E on the keyboard, it looks like. And then if I want to place it back, I can actually press F. Okay, so I press F to put it back. Press E to actually grab it. Okay, so if I actually want to turn it on, how do I do that? Oh, I can right click on the mouse. Okay, so I right click on the mouse right here and I could turn on the flashlight. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We'll grab this ultraviolet stick, I guess, and then I'll just grab this notepad. Let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this key. I'm assuming Okay, so that's probably the key to the house. So it looks like we probably need to grab that each and every single time that we go into the match. Okay. So it looks like I could sprint by holding down shift on the keyboard, so that's pretty nice. And I can rotate through my inventory slots here with the scroll wheel. Okay, gotcha. And then, let's see. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay, so you can actually press Q on your keyboard to scroll through your inventory as well. I didn't realize that. Okay, so you could either use Q to cycle through your inventory, and you can also use the scroll wheel. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So we're about to go into this house, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. So left click to open the door. Gotcha. Right click to turn my flashlight on, and let's see. Left click will turn lights on. Okay, so it seems like left click is what I'm gonna use to interact with certain things. This is eerie. This is really creepy. Okay, gotcha. So we're gonna see what we're doing here, and we're gonna see if we can actually get this ghost right. So we have that 5-minute setup time. I can actually press the F key on my keyboard to highlight and put this notepad down, and it's actually gonna put this ring around the object. So okay, so that ring, I guarantee you that ring is more than likely where the ghost, oh, it just threw something, what the ghost radius is. So as long as the ghost is within that ring, it can interact with this book. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know where it threw something. I'm not sure what it threw though. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right, it threw a cup. Okay, it's throwing stuff in the kitchen. So I'm assuming the ghost is here in the kitchen. If I place this notepad down here, it's gonna actually bring that ring up. So I'm gonna do that. And then, how do I, oh, what was that? Oh, it sounded like a potato. Jeez, okay. We're gonna go ahead and, I think we're gonna just go ahead and get more stuff from the truck. We're gonna, okay, so G, as in golf, will actually put your flashlight down. Okay, interesting. But I noticed that I rotated throughout my inventory and my flashlight's still on. Let's see. Let me press some buttons here. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you could press T as in tango on your keyboard, and that's actually going to turn on and off your flashlight without you actually having to have it actively in your hand like this. That's pretty cool. This ghost is throwing a lot of stuff, and it's freaking me out. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that flashlight. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that glow stick. I don't really know what I'm doing with that yet, so I'm going to figure that one out. I'm going to go get some more of my main equipment from the truck here and see what's going on. Okay, so as you can see there, we made our very first run into the house, or into the investigation area. We learned a little bit about some of the equipment, how to turn it on, and some of the basic mechanics about your inventory and how to use your inventory effectively and efficiently. Now, we went through, we kind of showed some of the basic keys there, and we also found the ghost room. So now we're back in the truck, and we're gonna go grab some more equipment and go back in. We know that the ghost is actually somewhere in the kitchen, so we're gonna, in our kitchen, maybe dining room rather, we'll have to see. That's still up to us. So we're gonna find out where it's at. But as of right now, we have no evidence, but we know where the ghost is, and that is the first step. Let's dive into some more. Okay, sweet. Let's see. Okay, so our timer is actually ticking down. So that's our setup timer. Okay, that's freaky. Okay, so we have another minute and 15 seconds roughly to go get set up before this ghost can actually be a danger to us. So let's see. I grabbed this spirit box, this thermometer, and as well as this meter thing. I don't know what this is. We'll have to... Oh, this is the EMF reader that they talked about. Gotcha. Okay, so we have a spirit box, a thermometer, and a EMF reader. Okay, interesting. And we have a maximum capacity in our inventory of 3, it looks like, because I can't hold anything more. Yeah, so we can only hold 3 pieces of equipment at a time. Okay, so let's go back into the house while we still have some setup time, and let's try and get this ghost right. I think I'm doing this right. I don't know, but I'm scared out of my mind. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to figure this out. Did it just touch a window? I think it did. Oh, we have an EMF. Wow, that's way past 5. So that's literally one of our evidences. Okay, so let's go to our journal. Let's click EMF 5 and check it off so we have EMF 5 evidence, because that EMF 5 was going off. But I wonder how to use this. Let me see. This glow stick. If I right click. Okay, so I right click the glow stick to actually activate it. Now let's see. I don't see any ultraviolet fingerprints on here because I feel like it touched that window. So we'll check back again and we'll see if we could possibly get some more UV evidence. I think that's where they would show up at. I'm really not too sure. So we have our thermometer here. We're gonna go ahead and put this down. Now I remember hearing about how he said that the power must be turned on in order to get accurate temperature readings in the house. So we need to go ahead and ensure the power's on. So the power's not on. I turned the light switch. Okay, so where's the power at? We should have looked. It's on our board in the truck, right? We didn't look at that, so that's okay. We're gonna have to find out where our power's at. I'm gonna grab my flashlight, and we're gonna go explore for the power a little bit. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's touching doors. It just touched the basement door. It's moving. Okay, all right. Let's grab our EMF reader. We got another EMF 5, so we definitely have confirmed EMF 5 evidence. I want to grab my ultraviolet light and see if there's any fingerprints on the door. Okay, so you actually have to shake this UV stick in order to reactivate it. Okay, so I'm not seeing any ultraviolet fingerprints, right? So what I'm gonna do... Oh my gosh! Okay, all right, buddy. All right, leave me alone. Oh, that was scary. Okay. Alrighty. Woohoo! So that there was what's called a ghost event. During your investigation, you will experience these ghost events. They are not hunts at all. They may sound similar and they may freak you out, and they could make you lead you to believe that they in fact are a hunt, but they're not. They're just called ghost events. Now, when these ghost events happen, this is a great opportunity if you have a photo camera, which is again optional equipment, to snag a photo of the ghost. Now, we will go over photos of the ghost and photos of everything in Phasmophobia here in just a little bit once we get a little bit more deeper into this guide. But just know that the ghost photo is the most valuable photo in the game and is the most expensive photo in the game. It's hard to get. Definitely try and get it if you can. But these ghost events are pretty scary, and that's exactly what that is. Just a ghost event. That was literally one of the scariest things I think I've ever witnessed. Okay, so I noticed that we weren't getting any fingerprints or any ultraviolet evidence on the door that it was touching. So since we didn't get that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and rule out ultraviolet evidence by crossing it out. Now, it looks like that actually removes, let's see, if we uncheck this, that'll remove 4 ghosts off our list. Smiling, Obake, Goryo, and it looks like that was the Jinn. It is. So now we've ruled down our evidence pool a lot more. So we still need to find our power. Let's go check the basement. I don't know if I'm gonna really enjoy this too much, but we'll see. All right, we got power down here. This is the breaker. So we just turned that on, and we now have power. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, I like it. Okay, yep, we in fact do have power up here. Nice. We have this notepad. I think that this is actually ghostwriting book. So that's the ghostwriting book. We'll see if it writes in it. I'm not really sure if it will though. We don't have freezing temperatures yet because freezing, right, I think that would indicate, right, generally 32 degrees Fahrenheit or below, or 0 degrees Celsius, right? 0 degrees Celsius or below. And since we don't really have that, because again, that's what freezing is, I'm gonna say we don't have freezing temperatures as of now. It is so close to me. Oh my gosh, it's literally so active. Okay, I'm pretty worried about this. So I also, I remember hearing at some point in time, they mentioned that there's something called hiding spots in this game. They said that it could possibly be lockers. Okay, it is. Yeah, look at this. So we have a hiding spot here. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and see how this works. Okay, so yeah, you hide in here, and you can close the door and hide from the ghost. Okay, gotcha. So that is right. We do have hiding spots in Phasmophobia. Now, these are going to be your best friend once you drop below that hunting sanity threshold of whatever ghost you have. So once the ghost hunts, you want to find one of these hiding spots. This could be anything from a corner of a room that's blocked off by these colored blue and orange and green bins, or it could be something simple as a locker in the garage, which you've seen in this example, or a open hallway closet. Those are all great hiding spots, preferably the lockers and closets though. Now, there are 2 things that can make these hiding spots unsafe. First thing is if you talk through your microphone via your local or your radio chat, which is also going to be V as in Victor on the keyboard, or B as in boy on the keyboard, respectively. Those are going to be your local and radio chats. If you use those while a hunt is going on, you could risk dying to the ghost, and the ghost will come and find you and kill you in your hiding spot. The second thing is that if you have any active electronics on in your hand, that will bring the ghost to you as well. So your best bet, especially when you're just learning how to play Phasmophobia, just drop all the equipment that you have in your hand, or at least just the one that's in your current inventory slot, and just don't switch through your inventory slot, and make sure you have no active turned on electronics in your hand while this ghost is hunting and while you're in a hiding spot. Okay, all right, cool. So that's what that is. Okay, hiding spots seem pretty useful. A little nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty nervous. I also heard something about a bone. They said something about a bone being super useful in this match. Like you can get a bunch of money for picking it up. Let's go see if we can actually find that bone here. I'm gonna see what we can do. Let's see. Let's take a gander here. I want to find this bone because I want to get some money. I don't know about you guys, but my first match on Phaz, I want as much money as I can possibly have. Hey, look, there's another hiding spot right there in that freaking locker. I'm sorry, in that closet. Nice. Okay, perfect. Oh, wow. Okay, I think that's our bone. So it looks like a pelvis bone, and just like my flashlight, I believe if you just press E, you could pick it up. Okay, let's turn this light switch on and let's pick up that bone. Perfect. Okay, so I think we got some darn good money going right now with that bone there. Oh, here's another hiding spot. Okay. Oh, it's hunting. Did you hear the front door lock? Is it hunting? It is. Oh, there's a key I took. Oh, that must be the key for the car in the garage. Oh, it is hunting. Oh, I can't leave. Okay, he said turn your flashlights off. I can't leave. Where is this ghost at? Oh. Okay, I turned the light switch on during the hunt. Wait, can I? Oh, I can leave now. Okay, so that hunt was pretty short. Okay, that was scary. Okay, so I think that as long as you can turn on a light switch, that's how you know the hunt is actually not going on anymore. Interesting. So that right there is what's called a hunt. Now, in-game, when a hunt happens, this is an opportunity, and this is the only opportunity for the ghost to actually kill you. And if you die, you lose all of your equipment that you've brought into that match. So you want to ensure that once a hunt actually starts, you find yourself a hiding spot as fast as possible, turn off all of your electronics that are in your actual hand, and ensure that you are not talking into the mic, because if you do any of those two things, the ghost can and will find you and rip open the doors to the hiding spot that you're currently in, and it will kill you. So again, once a hunt happens, make sure you find yourself a hiding spot. Now, a really good tip for you is if you do not know when a hunt is over, find yourself a light switch or a lamp, try and turn it on. If you can turn it on, that means the hunt is over, because during hunts, you can't actually turn on household lights. Okay, so let's see. We still don't know what ghost we're dealing with here, and we know it's hunting, which means we must be generally below 50% sanity. Interesting, okay. Let's go ahead and kind of dabble on over here. Oh, we have some... What's this? Oh, these... I saw these earlier. I literally saw these. Okay, so these are... I think they're called tarot cards, right? They were a cursed possession that I watched in one of the videos. Okay, so tarot cards are a cursed possession from what I remember. Interesting. Okay, so that is in fact true. These are the tarot cards. They are a cursed possession that are within the map. Now, there are 7 cursed possessions that have a chance to spawn. All of them have an equal chance to spawn from the other. We happen to get tarot cards this match. Now, the tarot cards are a deck of cards that are, of course, a cursed possession. They're cursed, they're haunted, and when you actually pull these cards, they can mean various different things. You could pull a card that's called the Hangman, and that will instantly kill you. It's a 1% chance to get it. Or you could pull a card that's called the High Priestess, which will revive any teammates that you have that are currently deceased in the game, or if you happen to die, if you had pulled a High Priestess card earlier, it is essentially a revive card and you will get revived yourself. So various different benefits and various different cons that you could get from these cards. You can have what's called the Death card, which will cause a hunt immediately, but not only a hunt, it'll cause a cursed hunt, which we will go over here in just a second. But these are the cursed possessions. These are the tarot cards, and they're very useful, or they could be very bad for you. Now, our cursed hunt will extend a normal hunt by 20 seconds. So when a cursed hunt happens, for example, the tarot cards, that's only with the death card. If you get the death card, you will get a cursed hunt. Now, each hunt after that for the remainder of your match will be extended by 20 seconds. So keep that in mind. Cursed hunts are pretty scary and they last a lot longer. So these are pretty useful, pretty scary, pretty bad. You never really know. That's the risk of using these cards, but nonetheless, that's what they are. Okay, interesting. I kind of want to pull one just to see what we get. Let's see. The Fool. Interesting. Not really sure what that one is. I think I remember that meaning that it doesn't mean anything. Like, the Fool is just a Joker card where it's kind of like you thought you got it, but you really didn't. That's probably what that is. Let's keep pulling some cards here. Wheel of Fortune. Oof. Wow. Oh, hide. Oh my gosh. I pulled the death card. That's the cursed hunt. Oh my gosh. Now we're getting a cursed hunt, but I'm in a hiding spot. Those cards are dangerous. I'm not playing with those no more. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I just gotta stay hidden. Is it still out there? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's right there. Oh, the ghost's right there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. I don't know how I didn't die from that. That was insanely scary. Oh, so. Oh. Okay, that freaked me out. What is this water running here, though? What is this? Oh. It's like sewer water. Disgusting. Ew. Gross. So as you can see right there, we got hunted. We pulled the death card on the tarot cards, cursed possession, and we got that one. So it started a cursed hunt, and we saw the ghost, and we almost died from it, but we were able to get into the hiding spot without being seen. So we did, in fact, survive. And then afterwards, we kind of saw what that dirty water was, that like milky, kind of nasty sewer water in the sink. That's called dirty water. Okay, and dirty water doesn't mean anything in game. It doesn't signify anything. All that it means for you is that the ghost interacted with that sink. But the dirty water is a very valuable photo to get. It's actually the second most valuable photo that you can get. So if you have a camera, make sure you take a photo of that dirty water. But you can only take one photo of dirty water per sink. So if it turns that sink on again, you will not get another dirty water photo from it. It'll have to be another sink that it'll touch. But that is what dirty water is. It doesn't mean anything, and it won't lead you to any specific ghost type. Let's test for ghost orbs one more time. Oh, we have ghost orbs. Look at that, we have ghost orbs. So that's what ghost orbs looks like. It's floating right there. Where'd it go? There it is again. It's right here. Okay, so that's scary. We have ghost orbs. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have ghost orbs. So now we're going to go ahead and cross out. I'm sorry, we're going to check off ghost orbs. And that's going to leave us with a Raiju. Oh, that's okay. So I don't know what a Raiju is, but as you can see, right, since we ruled that out, right, since we ruled out ultraviolet evidence because we tested it and it's not leaving any fingerprints behind, we can rule it out, and that's going to leave us with a Raiju. So we can circle Raiju and we'll be good to go. Now, we can't do any of these side objectives, unfortunately, because we don't have any of those items purchased, right? But let's go ahead and take a look at the Raiju, and let's see what evidence we would get, right? EMF 5 ghost orbs and D.O.T.S projectors. So this ghost will give off D.O.T.S evidence, right? If it is in fact a Raiju, but through the process of elimination, it looks like we were actually able to get the Raiju just by ruling out other evidence. So that's pretty cool. Interesting. So let's go ahead and use this as an example. Let's see. If we do not cross out ultraviolet, we can safely rule out freezing temperatures, it looks like, if we cross it out completely. So we can completely rule out freezing temperatures because it doesn't change our list. We can completely rule out ghost writing, spirit box, and ultraviolet since we didn't get ultraviolet evidence. So that leaves us literally with, we have to have D.O.T.S, so we can circle Raiju. So as you saw there, we were actually able to come down to the conclusion of this ghost, not by getting all 3 evidences, but by ruling out other evidences that we know we weren't getting, like ultraviolet evidence and other things like the ghostwriting book. Very, very, very good way of actually finding the ghost if you're not getting that 3rd piece of evidence if it's being stubborn. But as you can see, those 3 pieces of evidence will lead to a certain ghost, which we have the Raiju here. So let's go ahead and let's end the match, and let's go ahead and collect our payment and get some money to buy some items from the shop. Alright, I'm getting out of here. I think we got ourselves a good ghost, a Raiju, right? And look at that. We're above 50% sanity. I wonder if this is one of those ghosts that he mentioned that can hunt above 50% sanity. That's weird. But there's our sanity, and it's definitely gone down quite a bit. So let's go ahead and end the match. Alright, so before we end this match, we do need to talk about the most asked question by a beginner player. Do I need to bring my equipment back into the truck when I'm done with the investigation? And that answer is no. Once you bring the equipment into the truck and you actually start your match, that's it. That's when your equipment is already used. What dictates if you keep that equipment or need to buy it again is if you die in the match. If you die, you do lose all that equipment. And if you're playing on amateur mode, you will recoup some of that money back. But once you get up to the higher difficulties, you will not keep that equipment once you die. Now, with this, though, there is the caveat, as we talked about earlier, about the consumable equipment. Once you use that equipment, even if you survive and win the match, that's it. That consumable equipment has been consumed and it's now gone. But you can leave all of your other ghost finding equipment, all of your hardware in the actual house, and as long as you do not die, you will not lose that equipment. We're going to keep this pin pad. That must end the match. Yes, we have Raiju circled. We do. Let's make sure we have that circled, and then let's kind of see what happens here. I think we got the ghost right. We did. Let's go. Okay, perfect. So we found the correct ghost type, right? We got $100 for that. We got $100 as an investigation bonus. Okay, that's pretty cool. And our rewards multiplier was a ×1. Okay, gotcha. And then we also got $25 additional for getting that bone, finding it, and picking it up. That's so cool. And we didn't get any photo evidence, unfortunately, because we don't have that photo camera, which is an additional purchase under our options, our optional equipment. But we got the Raiju right. So we also have, this is our contract payment tabs. Okay, so that's how we get paid. I get it now. Okay, I'm understanding. Our game summary, which will tell us various information about that specific match. And then detailed statistics. So interesting. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. I traveled 807 meters. I spent almost 5 minutes in the light. Let's see. And this is information about the ghost. That's cool. Okay, so the ghost traveled 437 meters. Let's see. Fuse box toggles 1. Okay, so it turned the fuse box off only once. It touched 7 doors. That's so cool. You can actually see so much so much information here. Bone location garage. So cool. I like that. Let's click next. And now we got some money. Perfect. I love it. And there you have your first ever match completed. We just did that playthrough. We went over pretty much a little bit of everything. Just enough to get you started without spoiling too much. That right there was a good run of Phasmophobia. We walked away with some money. We walked out alive. And now we can actually go and purchase some more equipment. And depending on your level, whenever you finish your matches, you can go ahead and actually purchase some optional equipment to start getting those side objectives and getting more money at the end of your match. Super, super cool. That was a really, really good playthrough of Phasmophobia. I love it. All right, well, that was pretty fun. Okay. I feel pretty confident with the basics of Phasmophobia now. I think I got pretty good with that single player match. That's not bad. Let me try out multiplayer for the first time. Let's go over here and see multiplayer. Let's see what happens here.
I've gathered a list of other hunters asking for help.
Huh, okay. So these are all different, looks like servers or lobbies. Okay. Up here, what does this button do? Oh, so there's your region. So depending on where you live in the world, you can select your region. That's pretty nice. Okay, so I selected North America because that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and click the filter button. You can actually filter between, okay, languages, as well as you can, oh, this is for custom difficulty game modes. Okay, so we're not going to dabble into that too much. So now we're here. We can refresh the list. Looks like we can create our own lobby here, which is pretty nice. You can make it a private lobby, select your amount of players, language. That's pretty cool. Okay. Or you can join a private match if somebody has a code, and this is where you'd probably type that in. That's nice. Okay, I like this a lot. Let's see if we could join somebody's lobby really quick and see what's going on here. Lord of Life 214. Let's see. Hey there, how you doing? Headbang if you can hear me. How you doing, bud? Headbang if you can hear me. Can you hear me? He can hear me. So he can hear me. Something's just wrong with his mic. But as you can see, we got a bunch of people in here that are joining, and we're now playing with a bunch of people. So that's pretty cool. I like it. So this is what multiplayer looks like, and you can see everyone's adding their own equipment. So who is red? So Ken Carson is red, and he's got all this equipment added, and I'm blue right here, signified by this mark, and all my equipment's right here. Now, all right, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. So this is pretty nice. I like this. So multiplayer. Can anybody hear me? Hello. I don't think anybody's got their mics working, so we're gonna go ahead and just leave this lobby. But that would be, I guess, how you play multiplayer looks like. So that's pretty cool.
Welcome back.
Nice. Okay, sick. I like it. I like it. Well, let's test out the training tab here. We're gonna click training. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, I'm sure. So we're gonna see this training.
Welcome to your first day at ghost hunting distribution. Read the whiteboard to get started.
That's scary. Okay. To start, grab a flashlight behind you, and you can toggle it on and off. That's freaky. Okay. You can then toggle your flashlight if you use a special if it's in your inventory. So that's T as in Tango. And you can cycle through your held items, which, okay, there are 3 items at once. Yeah, just like we talked about. Okay, nice. Okay, I like it. Let's go over here. Perfect. So we're going to run through the training really quick, it looks like here. Ghost room. Your first goal when entering a haunted location is to find the ghost's favorite room. This is a tool where the ghost will spend the majority of the time. I'm sorry, this is a room. Okay, interesting. So let's go through here. So this is the ghost room, and it says room 1. Interact with your mouse 1. Okay, so we're going through room 2. Interact with mouse. Okay, so we're going to keep on going through. Room 3, we're going to keep on going through, but this door is locked. Let's see. Interesting. I wonder what I'm supposed to do here.
Head through the door to the next section.
There it is. Just had to pick a few stuff up. Okay, sweet. I like it. Let me go through here and see. Sanity pills. Each investigation has their own sanity level represented in the truck as a percentage on the screen, and when playing in a team, you'll also have an average sanity level. Okay, I like it. Let me take some sanity pills here then. So we took some sanity. We'll take one more.
Good job.
Sweet. All right, I like it. We got our flashlight. We're going through. And now we have lighting. So to keep your sanity stable, you should stand in lit rooms or areas as much as possible. Fair enough. You can turn lights on using their switch. Aim at the switch, then interact with it. Okay, perfect. Boom. Nice. We interacted with it. I like it. Let's interact with all these. What about the breaker here? Nice. Okay. Cool. I like it. We're interacting with these switches, and now we should be able to push on through. And then we have an EMF reader. So let's go ahead and see if we can get any EMF readings. Perfect. Let's see. Where is our EMF interaction?
Nice work.
There it is. We got EMF 3. Nice. All right, so what's this? This is ultraviolet. Okay, so let's look for some ultraviolet fingerprints here, or some footprints. Hey, there we go. We'll always be with you. That's kind of
well done.
Nice. Okay, so we're good there. And now freezing temperatures is the next one. So we're going to go ahead and get some freezing temperatures here. We're going to see which room is actually going to be freezing, though. We're not noticing any drop in temperature there. We are noticing a drop in temperature here, so we're going to see if we get freezing temperatures. I hear a bunch of freaky noises. Let's see. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Yeesh, some of those noises are freaky. So it looks like our thermometer stopped there. We're gonna keep on checking for freezing. Looks like temperature's rising in this room, so we're not gonna really check that room too much. Temperatures are dropping in this room, so we will stay in this room and see if we get any freezing temperatures at all. Let's see, temperatures are dropping. Temperatures are still dropping. Will they go below freezing? We'll see. And we got below freezing.
Move to the next room.
Nice, let's go. Okay, perfect. So now we gotta check for dots evidence. Okay, so we have pictures of the dots right here. Oh, that's what dots looks like.
Good job.
Okay, yeah, nice. Okay, that's freaky. Holy smokes. Okay, that's gonna be creepy with experiencing that in game. Let's go see. We got ghost orbs here. So to find, grab a video camera and turn on night vision. Okay, perfect. So we're looking for our night vision. I'm sorry, we're looking for our ghost orbs.
Nice work.
Which we found right here. Y'all can see the ghost orb floating around. Where'd it go? I think the game took it away from me. There it is. Nope. Perfect. It's floating around right there. Nice. Okay, we'll keep it moving. Let's see what else we got. We got ghostwriting books, so we'll take a few of these for sure. We'll put them down. We'll put down a ghostwriting book there and a ghostwriting book down there. Let's go. Let's go. Come on now. Where's the ghostwriting? Oh, there it is.
Well done.
Oh, that's freaky. Okay, perfect. We got ghostwriting. And then we have to get spirit box evidence now. So let's see. What it said something about turning the lights off though. That's right. Make sure that all room lights in the area are turned off, that you can ask those questions to get a response. Try asking, where are you? Okay, so we're gonna turn these lights off. Where are you? Actually,
Taken away.
Good job.
We have text option on, so that works. We'll keep on moving through. And we're back here. So now we're on to hunts though. So now this ghost is about to hunt us.
Something's not quite right. You better hide, quickly.
I hid. There it is.
That was a close one. Congratulations on completing your training. You can exit through the truck by interacting with the keypad.
Here's some more hiding right here. Okay, interesting. So that was intense. So that didn't take us that long, and we got pretty orientated with everything through this training. So that's pretty nice. I like that. So now we're gonna go to the pin pad, like they said in the truck, click it, and then we're gonna leave. I love it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. I don't know. I think we're just gonna be taken back to the main menu. Who knows? And we do. Okay, so we completed our training.
I've got some jobs ready for you.
I love it. Awesome. And then you got credits, options, and quit, which I think that we can navigate those on our own. But I think that right there is good enough, and I honestly think I'm pretty prepared to dive in to the rest of this game and kind of see what the game has to offer, see what I can do, and I'm really excited to start getting in there and hunt these ghosts and getting some more money, because this seems like a pretty fun game that honestly it seems like it wouldn't be a very, what would you say, a game with a lot of variety, but I can see how it is with the amount of ghosts and the amount of evidence combinations that you can get, and honestly, I'm loving it. So I'm gonna keep playing, and yeah, that's that. We'll see what we get. I'm gonna go into single player. All right, YouTube, that's gonna conclude our official How to Play Phasmophobia guide. I really do hope that you learned something from this guide. I had a ton of fun making this, and I really enjoyed it. And again, if you learned something, make sure you drop a comment down below. Let me know what you learned. Let me know what you took away from this video. And if you want to see more content like this, of course, make sure you drop a like and hit that subscribe button as well. I also stream 3 days a week over on Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Pacific Standard Time. If you want to see some more live content, live tips and tricks, and play some community games and have a chance at some free EJ merch, aka Eagle Jr. merch, check it out. We're over there on Twitch 3 days a week. Hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all take care.